Good, fire away.
Dave, with Harrison, is it just a series of things little adjustments he needs to make, or is there been a consistent thing?
Yeah, we're assuming that right now, that it's just a small little thing, it's technical. We look at the tape and we see, it's an unusual miss for him to miss it right. So it's got to be, the way his ball contact, and we just got to work harder, not harder, but smarter in practice. He doesn't need to do more because he does a lot already. If anything, we need to cut down what he does and get more specific on, making sure that the contact is good and the rotation of the ball and the fundamentals are down. You just go back. That's what you do. You go back and you go from scratch and you evaluate it and you talk about it and you look at the tape and you build your confidence back and then you go.
In all your years of doing it, what have you learned about just getting out of a slide or a slump, something like that?
Haven't had too many guys that had a long slump. Hopefully this week is the start of a new streak, a good streak. So, that's what we always look at. It's always about the next kick. And, I haven't had too many guys that had a slump over, a 3 or 4 week period.
It seems like he may be fighting the balance between accuracy and distance. Do you kind of see that?
That's one of the things that we talked about, and, we kick a lot of long kicks in practice, and we're kind of, just to be a little bit more specific with it, we're going to kick more shorter kicks and less longer kicks, because the shorter kicks are the ones that, you have to have. You have to have, obviously you want to try to get the long ones too, but we can't spend our time doing that. We have to get more specific and talk about the accuracy of the ball, on those shorter kicks. And that's what we're going to do.
There was a lot of talk about the follow-through and the knee hit the ground last year, and he was going to change that. Has that been any effect?
No, that's not. We're not going to change. He's in a good spot now because he has confidence in his ankle and he's not dropping down. He's but that's not the issue right now. It's just the ball contact. The way his foot's hitting the ball and leaving it outside instead of, following through. But it's not the knee. There's nothing with that.
Around the league, this last week was nuts. Blocking field goals and all this stuff. Was that just a crazy week, or are you seeing more of an emphasis on trying to make block kicks and everything?
I just think it was the week, just the luck of it. The guys are, they're trying to block them. Everybody is. I think there was some low kicks in there if you look at it. Some issues, particularly in the blocking on the one team where they had two against the Rams. So that, you got to get that fixed during the game. If you have one, you got to get it fixed right away because we're going to keep coming back at it. And I think they did that in that A gap. So, it's just, I think it was just one of those weeks where it was a lot of them. Going into our week, going into our game, by the time we played, we already knew that there was a bunch of blocks. And we said, hey, let's join the crowd. Obviously we got our block in that game, but it was, obviously Graham Gano got hurt and they had the left-footed punter in there kicking and different holder, but we took advantage of the situation. So I was pleased that we were able to get one.
Is there a good coaching moment for you guys on the other side of it when you see those blocks to tell guys, hey, listen, man, people are coming after this. You have to be right. There's no.
Oh yeah, there's no question. Just like we look at all the big plays that happen, and we say, we always look at the other side. It's a great play, but why did it happen? And you're weevaluating guys, and you're always, doing a lot of self-scout, looking at yourself, saying that could have happened to us if we were not careful and make the corrections, even though it wasn't you that was playing.
In the new kickoff rule, it seems like you guys are getting out about 28 starting position, field position.
Yeah.
I know it's better than last year, kind of league average. And there's some teams that are doing really well. Like I know the Rams are kind of like a ridiculous starting field position, really good. What do you kind of see in variance?
Are you talking kickoff or are you taking kick return? Okay,
Okay.
our kickoff. Yeah, our kickoff, we're doing a good job on our kickoff. I'm not as pleased with our kickoff return. It's only been 3 games. Had we had the long return that Thornhill got and called back, and it would have been totally different. But right now, we're still trying to get our kickoff return team going a little bit more. But I'm pleased with our kickoff team, the way it's going so far. Bucker's able to move the ball, makes it tough for the kickoff return team. And those young players, guys like Bossa, he's making great plays for us, and Cooper. And so it's working well right now.
Last one, Nate.
Dave, how close, speaking of blocks, how close do you think you guys are on maybe getting a pump block coming up here?
Yeah, Shamari Connor was real close. We had a block called, and he came free, and he was there, but the ball, I mean, it just went by his hand. It was a well-executed play by our guys. I mean, that would have been a big play earlier in that Giants game. He's a good player, and he's tough to handle.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks.
This week, he just got me scared. Kansas State, that's okay. I don't have much. I mean, it's good to visit after a win, and but we kind of put that one to bed real quick and moving on to pretty good challenge here. This is a good football team. We'll have to play better than we did last week. So with that, I'll open it up.
Looked like you played a lot of split safeties against the Giants. Just
Yeah.
when you do that, I mean, it looked like it was a heavy workload for you guys compared to maybe usual. What's
Yeah.
the benefits of that? What do you kind of really like about that with your personnel?
There was a guy we were concerned about. Well, listen, the week prior, that offense had put up some numbers, and they had really done it with some deep shots, some really good throws, and their receivers made some really good catches. So we didn't want that to happen again. We felt like if we let that happen, then we didn't want it to go that way like it did against Dallas. So we decided to take that away first. And then as the game went, you're just trying to decide whether do you stay in it, do you get out of it. And, for whatever reason, we decided to go that route. It won't be like that every week. But when it was all said and done, we looked up there and there was 9 points. We felt good about that.
Coach, Chris Jones is usually, I know you guys have your own grading system and everything, but for the ones that are out there, he's usually one of the best. He's not grading like he usually does. What are you seeing? Is there?
What grades are you using?
PFF is the one I'm looking at right now.
That's what everybody uses. The only thing, Chris Collinsworth, I think he's a good dude, and he's involved in that company. I don't know how you put a grade on somebody when you don't know actually what their assignment was or what they were being told. So I don't know. It's like from our standpoint, I thought Chris in this particular game had a real big effect on the game. They obviously found ways to double him, whether it was two linemen. The running back at times was chipping inside, which you don't see a lot, because that was the Chris Jones effect. A number of times that he didn't get there, but I think he forced the quick throw or step up. So, from our standpoint, I don't remember what Chris's actual grade was, but I know that at the end of the game, I thought the guys up front, Chris included, had a big effect on the way things went.
What did you see from the young guys?
I think Ashton continues to get better and better. Omar, it was his second game now, and after missing all that time, you can start to see him kind of climbing the ladder and getting better. He missed that one sack that I know he wants back badly. We talked extensively, and Coach Reed mentioned it the night before the game. When you play a quarterback that's not quite as big, expect that. And Omar was like, and all those guys, they don't want to leave sacks on the field. But I thought both those guys really stepped up and helped us. I did.
So you mentioned PFF and they don't know the plays. And if I'm not mistaken, it was Mike Zimmer a couple of years ago when he coached the Vikings made that same point. How much stock do coaches, when they're looking at PFF, put the stock in that?
Well, I will say this. There's a lot of stuff the PFF puts out that's valuable and useful. My only thing, I think a lot of coaches feel the same way. Chris and I have talked about it. We've laughed about it. And I think their guys do a really good job. And they see, listen, they can be, but I just think there's a margin of error when you don't know exactly what the player was told. It may look like he's made a mistake or a mental error and gets, but it might have been exactly what they told him. So I think that there's a, I don't know, I took a stat class a long time ago, and there's a name for that, whatever. There's a margin of error. Is the only thing I can think of right now. But listen, we get paid to grade our guys and coach our guys and evaluate them. So we're not using that for that. And we're going to, as far as other players and whether we use the grades on other players, that has to come from our eye and watching the tape. So I don't think we would rely on grades. But there's a lot of other valuable information that PFF has.
Both scoring more than anyone in the league right now. I guess what have you seen from their offense, and in particular Lamar, in this version of the
Yeah, the same thing that we always see. A dynamic quarterback with a lot of talent around him and a team that can run the football. They, when they're really good, and they have been all year long, they can dictate the game by being two-dimensional the whole game. And you have to worry about it on every snap. It doesn't matter what the down and distance is. They'll run it when you're supposed to throw it and throw it when you're supposed to run it, and they got guys that can do it.
I'm surprised Detroit was able to sack him a career-high 7 times. Anything you can use from them?
Well, what just stood out to me just watching the game on TV was how relentless Detroit was. The effort that their pass rushers put in, I thought was really, really good, and they found ways to, eventually get them on the ground, which is not easy to do.
We're going to go last 3, Blair, Todd, Nick.
The concept of a spy, when you spy the quarterback, what do you give up when you do that?
Well, he's probably going to have the ball a little bit longer, because you don't got 4 guys on him. You got to mix and match that. I mean, sometimes when we do too much of that, I feel like we handcuff the pass rushers a little bit. Because in essence you only have 2 or 3 guys rushing, they get doubled, and so we pick our spots. I mean, obviously every team that plays Baltimore is going to have some version of it, and you just got to decide when you're going to use it.
So Derrick Henry has not been a fumbler, but he's had a few big ones recently. I mean, I know you guys preach turnovers all the time. Is there more emphasis on that some weeks? And have you seen anything in the way he's turned it over? Maybe something you could exploit?
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's the same on offense as it is on. We always talk about getting turnovers in bunches, right? Maybe that happens to the offense too, the same way. I've never looked at him as a fumbler. I know he's had a couple in these past 2 games, but yeah, well, we try to attack the football and get him to put it on the ground. Yeah, anybody that touches it for them would like to do it. We haven't had that. I think we might have forced 1 or 2 out and haven't gotten them. I mean, it was nice to get the 2 interceptions last week. We need, really to slow this crew down somehow, some way. We got to find a turnover or 2 in there and give the offense some field position.
Steve, with a player like Lamar, how do you have to talk to the pass rush about having a certain mentality to where it's not 100 miles per hour to keep that discipline and keep that contained?
Yeah, it's a little bit more of a controlled rush, but we don't want to slow guys down by saying controlled. I mean, there is a certain way to, to try to tackle and sack these quarterbacks because he's so elusive. If you're out of control trying to tackle a guy like this, you're not going to get him because he knows how to sidestep. He's got a great stiff arm. He's long. So those are all things that we've talked about. And, we got a bunch of guys that have played him before, so hopefully that experience against them will help us in this game. Yeah.
Thanks, Coach.
Good. Yeah, thank you.
I know we've been talking about the run game kind of week in and week out.
Yeah.
What did you see, especially in the second half? And do you feel like there's any strides being made in that area?
The second half was better. We had some bigger chunks early on, whether it's the RPO game or under center. I just felt like there was more of a rhythm that first drive of the third quarter. Some of that was obviously it was the opposite in the second quarter. That wasn't what we want to be, and we went in at halftime and just talked about just settling down, getting back to who we are, and I think that's very important. And the guys did that coming out there to start the third. You stayed away from penalties, you got positive yards, and then you were effective in the red zone with a great throw and catch by by Patrick and 80.
From a production standpoint, Pacheco had a better game, I guess. What did you see that maybe is leading to his success?
Well, I would say, kind of like we talked about as a shooter, the more shots you get in a rhythm. I think that was probably evident a little bit with both of those guys the other day with Kareem and Pacheco. The one thing I love about both of those guys in that room is those guys are so intense and they care so much. So when they get the ball, they get opportunities. They want to be able to show what they can do. And sometimes probably in the week prior there might have been a little bit of pressing, not just from them but from everybody. And I think let's just get away from that part of it. Let's just be us and just be calm and just play the game and not get out of sorts. And I thought our guys did a great job with that, in particular that start of that third quarter.
Coach, maybe this is just a figure of speech and I'm making too much of it. I thought it was interesting last week you said you were looking for an identity.
Mm-hmm.
And here you just said at halftime, get back to who we are.
Yeah.
Is that to say that you found that identity in who it is? Like I said, I'm not trying to...
No. You're right with what you're thinking, but what I'm trying to say is I think in that first half, getting back to who we are is probably this, as simple as it sounds, just being calmer and just settling down. Not the identity of the offense, but just being us and just somebody, no one pressing, just playing the game. If something happens, we adjust. Same thing with coaches too. Like, let's make sure that we're under control, and then when we get out there, we expect execution, and then it's teamwork.
We didn't get a chance to ask Patrick this yesterday, but what happened on the misconnection between he and Travis in the first half?
Just remind me. I'm so past that game. Remind me exactly the play.
Sorry. There was what was it, about 10 yards or so? And
The little check down?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was more of just, he was just that. He was fourth in the progression. He's a check down, and they just missed each other. There's nothing more to it other than, it might have even been a little bit of what was in front of Pat as he's trying to find a lane. But nothing that we've gone back and said, oh no, this shouldn't happen. They got to make that catch, but that one wasn't really big on our list for that one, even though we want to make that play.
Just along.
Go ahead, sorry.
Where do you feel like Travis is right now? We've seen obviously the cameras have caught some things the past couple weeks on the sideline. Just where do you feel like he is right now?
Travis is fine. We've all, everybody here, we know who Travis is. We love it. We don't ever want to take that away from him. He's one of the, if not the greatest tight end to ever play the game. One of his greatest strengths is playing with emotion. And the beauty of what I think you saw happen the other day is it's never personal. It's just like sometimes it's just created. He cares. Coach Reed cares. We all care. So that happens a lot. Sometimes not always just in the game, but at practice, and we really don't make anything of it. I mean, it's all pure and nothing but love.
I think Patrick's spoken a little bit about just some balls he'd like back, and I think, if I understood him right, not really about the reads, just the accuracy itself. Mm-hmm. Are you seeing that too? And what is the commonality, if you do see a commonality?
There might be a few throws. The one that jumps out to me, there was one play where he was a little bit short on his post throw to Taekwon. That's the one that really probably jumps out to me the most. And so there's others, though, that at the end of the game, he throws that long pass back to him after the drop call. He goes right back to him and makes a spectacular throw. The touchdown pass to Taekwon was ridiculous, just that we take for granted that we think it's simple. It's not. So there's a lot of great things that Patrick is doing right now. We want to keep that going. We want to continue to harp on feet and timing and progression, and that all matches up with those deep throws that I think we're doing more of this year.
Last two, Salmon and Toub.
How much do you feel like his feet have improved just as the offensive line is settled in?
Much better from last year as far as his feet, and that's a positive, you know. And he does it in practice. He takes it to the game. There might be a player or two here where it's not perfect, but when he's off schedule, he's the best in the game. So there's a balance of that.
Xavier Worthy back practicing. What have you seen from him so far? And if he can go, what can he do for you guys?
Well, he's such a big part of this offense, and he's been so instrumental in training camp and OTAs coming back this second year. He's so anxious to get back out there and show us what he can do and show us the growth, and then all of a sudden that happens in week 1. So now coming back, I thought last week was a positive, and now this week excited. You know, he's doing really well. He's running around. He looks good out there. So we're just literally taking it day by day, and I like where he's at, and it's exciting. The room, the vibe. I mean, getting Rasheed back, you know, in the meetings. There's just there's a great chemistry. We know where we're at 1 and 2. We understand the significance of this game, but it's slowly coming back to that vibe, and Xavier's a big part of that.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Man, packed house here today. All right, talk to me.
I asked Coach Banks about this too, but you played a lot of split safeties against the Giants, and obviously you're trying to take away Malik. But what is it about your personnel that really seems to fit that?
All right, I mean, I think, you know, when you're playing split safety defense, you don't have to have as much talent on the outside or back deep when you're playing zone defense. You look at some of the old school teams that played a lot of Tampa 2 and things of that nature. You just have to have guys who are disciplined, making sure if you're supposed to play in the flat, play in the flat. If you're supposed to be a deep player, make sure you stay deep. You know, a lot of guys came from those Tampa 2 systems that, you know, of course, have jackets in the Hall of Fame, but you don't have to have as much skill set to play the split safety defense.
How challenging is it for your group, and you're playing Lamar, who you got to worry about the pass catchers, but he can take off at any time?
Very, very much so. I mean, so you just said it. This guy can take off at any time. And so when you're dealing with a guy like Lamar, you need to understand that when we use the word plaster. So when he starts scrambling, if you have a guy in your area, you need to start connecting to your man and stay with him. Let the pass rushers rush Lamar, and let the underneath zone defenders maybe close in on him. But if you're a secondary guy, umbrella guy, you need to grab a guy and plaster.
Dave, how much and again, I know it's 3 games, but I remember Justin Reed, you know, tweeting out support of the young guys, especially after the game in Brazil. How much of his presence do you think is still with the guys, and what's it like watching young players have to do it and learn it themselves when they don't have that senior veteran?
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, his presence is still in the locker room, and so you have the guys that he came up with, the Fab Five. So those guys came in with Justin Reed, and so what Justin left here, the residue, that group is still carrying on, his leadership, what he had in our room, and so. I think when you lose a guy like a Justin Reed who's so smart on the football field, who can get us in and out of checks, it does hamper you a little bit. But I think the guys have picked it up. Jamari Connors has done a great job of understanding the defense, because primarily he was a nickel before. Now he's playing nickel and safety, and so we're trending in the correct direction.
Noel Williams has had a progression where he's playing more and more on the outside, and you've left him one-on-one with some pretty good wide receivers. How does that help you with allowing Trent McDuffie to play in the slot?
Tremendously. So if we can have a young man like a Noel come in and do the things that he's doing, you want that. And so the fact that he's able to go out there and use his skill set versus these top receivers, that's helping everyone out. Not only Trent, it's helping the D-line out as well. So he's done a great job.
What stood out to you about Chris's reception?
What stood
out to you about Roll Moss's?
Just the fact that we knew the play when the kid was motioning in, that he understood the concept that they were going to run, and he took a chance. And sometimes you have to take a chance, and that's what he did. And so the fact that he was able to understand what was going to happen, that was excellent for him. I'm glad he made the play.
Dave, from Brazil till now, what has been the biggest growth you've seen in the secondary?
Probably the communication. These guys are communicating well, no busted coverages. And so when you can communicate well and you don't have busted coverages, that's going to help everyone again. And so it's going to bring the yardage down. So the communication has been, tremendous. So hopefully we'll continue with that.
Coach, Brian Cook, from outside grades, it's having a really nice season.
Yeah.
According to that, I mean, have you noticed, is it maybe he's playing a little in a different spot? Are you using him differently, or is it just an evolution that you're seeing from him?
Yeah, I think what it is we told Brian that he needs to take more chances, be more aggressive in his coverage, and that's what he's doing. He's playing the same position. There's nothing new, but he's actually understanding that, when I get this route concept, let me now take a chance and take a shot at maybe trying to go make a play. Now, he should have caught the one in the end zone. All right, he got up pretending like his neck was hurt and then came back. No, basically you alligator arm that, extend out there and catch the ball. But I think he's just taking more chances. He's more confident. And so that's, good to see Brian on that ascending trajectory that we would like to see him on.
Last one, anyone?
You're having fun with us here, but you tell it like that in the meeting room? Does
Absolutely.
He catch stuff?
Absolutely. All of them. Even Jalen Watson, go back. Jalen Watson should have had 2 interceptions. That one pass that everyone thought was a dirt ball, it actually went through his hands and hit his stomach. So you look at the TV copy, he should have actually caught that. I think he closed his eyes. It's just like guys who are getting ready to make a tackle. If you close your eyes, you're probably going to miss it. So you have to keep your eyes open like my buddy Mike Singletary used to do. So, but he should have had 2 interceptions. All right. Thank you, guys. All right. God bless you.
When you are.
What are the early grades, early returns internally from you guys on what you're seeing from Kingsley with the switch to guard?
Yeah, I think Kingsley's doing a lot of things really well. And just like all of us, I mean, every time we turn on a practice, every time we turn on a game tape, we find stuff, hey, we got to work on this, we got to get better at that, and he's no exception. So he's working on things like staying more square in the pocket. But I would say he's given us good physical play. He's been adapting to that guard position very well. I'm very encouraged by what I'm seeing out of him.
Coach, you mentioned yesterday that Jawan's been playing pretty well in pass pro, but penalties, run game's been a little bit off. What do you do to try and get him on track there?
Yeah. I mean, without question, he's a talented pass protector. But as he knows, as we know, as everybody in the world knows, penalties are, going backwards is not good for the football team. And so, hey, the only guy that can fix that is him right there. And so, I've seen him make a conscious effort to work on that. And we need him to do it. I mean, bottom line is he's got to do that.
Is he a marked man with officials? Do you think they've got an eye on him?
Well, yeah, certainly. I mean, I wouldn't use the word you used, but yeah, they've got an eye on him. I mean, they watch tape, and here's the alerts on this outfit, and we're going to watch out for this and that. And so, without question, they'll come over and say, hey, you're going to have to move up on the ball for me, even before the game starts.
You watch the tape. I mean, personally, there are times I look, it looks to me like he's lined up even further back, and they don't call him. I mean, is there a continuity to this from team to team? Play to play, or
well, first I would say in terms of his depth, I mean, we track that on a daily basis. We track that week to week. PFF tracks that, and you can see that there are upwards of 20 tackles that line up as deep or deeper than him. Now, when he's getting called, those are good calls. I mean, he's too deep. Your helmet's got to break the plane. I think as a very prideful player,
one of the things Juwan takes a lot of pride in is he's going to give himself every advantage that he can. He's going to be on that snap count, and what we're telling him is, hey, that's not necessarily an advantage every time. Like, in fact, it can get you in trouble if you're too quick, you're too deep. That's creating too much space, and so. But he does take a lot of pride in what he's doing there.
How much and in what ways has Josh Simmons delivered from what you thought he'd be advertised, when you did get him in the draft?
It's jumps out at you when you watch the tape, when anybody watches him, how twitchy he is, how explosive he is. I would say, for a lighter guy, how strong he is. And so those are, great attributes at that position.
Coach, the running game, is it a sense where you wanted to see a plethora of concepts with this new group? Or are you trying to find the balance of maybe paring it down and finding what you guys are good at and then sort of building as the season goes along?
Well, that's a good question. In terms of, we still are in the process of finding out what we're good at. We've always done a lot of different concepts. I mean, I think it's, whether it's, throwing formations at people, different motions, variety. I would say the same is true of scheme. We're a mid-zone team. We're an inside zone team. It might be that we're best at one of those two things, but we're going to have gap schemes. We're going to have man schemes. We're going to have specials. And so, I believe in that. We'll find out what it is we're best at, from the line standpoint, from the runner standpoint, and what's best for our team. Is it getting under center and rolling, or is it RPOs? And we've kind of been a big RPO team through the years.
How much does the RPO maybe handcuff the offensive line? I mean, if you're wanting to get downhill and the guys aren't sure if it's going to be a run or a pass, I mean, does that make it more difficult for you guys? Is it something that's less enjoyable to play the game that way and not be able to just unleash and go try to ball somebody?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I mean, when you've got a double team of three technique, it doesn't matter to me whether the quarterback's under center or we're in the shotgun, and he might spit it out with a throw. I mean, there's a guy between you and my buddy right there. We're going to go get hip to hip and take that guy off the ball. I don't think it handcuffs the O-line in any way. We're not saying, hey, let's be less aggressive, let's be less physical, just because there may be a throw. We're blocking for that runner.
Coach, we saw Jalen Moore get some reps at the end of the game. Was that just to give him some work, or maybe a little motivation for Juwan, or maybe both?
Not the second. I mean, Jalen's been doing a lot of good things for us. We got a lot of confidence in him. Good big body in there. Did a nice job in there in that 4 minute.
Last one.
And this might be hard to sum up, but one other thing on Juwan, sort of in what ways over time have you tried to reach him differently, or have you tried a lot of different things on these points?
No, I'm open to suggestions there. I mean, don't jump off sides. Don't line up too deep. This is offsides. No, we've had good communication on that. We've had heart to heart, and Juwan is a smart guy. He knows what he's got to do.
And for all you've been pleased with on him, it must be frustrating at some level as a coach to feel like you're seeing some of the same things over and over. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's an old coaching adage. You don't want to repeat offenses. So if you make a mistake, make it once. Let's not come back and make the same mistake again.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Rashid back. He brings a lot of energy. He brings vet leadership, and he can help out the young guys. So it's great having Rashid back. Everyone in the room's excited to have him back.
And Xavier's been back on the practice field.
Yeah.
Obviously not the way he wanted to start the year. You feeling that kind of emotion from him, like ready to get back out there as well?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's ready to go. Just like you said. I mean, it's been a couple months since he's really played a game. He played 3 snaps in the first game, and has been out since. So he's ready to go.
What was kind of going through your mind when Xavier goes down and you're starting already with Rashid? I mean, I can't imagine it wasn't going through your mind like not again.
Yeah.
I mean, can't you just have like an easy season at receiver?
Yeah, I mean, it's really kind of just that next man up mentality. You can't really think about it, especially in the middle of the game. You can't just feel bad for yourself, or the team can't feel bad for themselves. So it's kind of just next man up, and whoever's there, we got to go to work and try to win this game.
Did it make it easier that those next men up were veterans like Juju and Hollywood?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that definitely helps having, someone that's done it before, that's been there, that, Pat trusts. That's big. That helps out a lot.
Connor, what are you most encouraged by what you've seen from Taekwon so far?
Taekwon, yeah. I just like, his mindset, and then he's been consistent. Ever since he got here last year, he's worked hard. He same guy every day, and he's another dude that brings energy to our room. He's funny. He's very funny. But I really enjoy coaching Taekwon. He's one of those guys. Anything you ask him to do, he's willing to do it.
You mentioned last year. I mean, just the fact that obviously he'd been cut. It's not
Yeah.
exactly a great moment for a football player in that moment. What did you see from him just in those early days? And I guess you've got to be sort of bracing for everything, right?
Yeah.
Any player that's gone through that.
I think it helped having Juju here, him knowing Juju, and then Juju knowing kind of his situation there, and then, kind of how we do things here. So having Juju helped him a lot. So that was probably the biggest help for him. And then just like anything else, it's all about timing. You see it all over the league. It's some people do good at some spots and then do bad at other spots, and vice versa. So I think it truly is it's good timing. He fits our offense, and he's put the work in.
Connor, what do you expect from Jalen Royals over this next few weeks?
Yeah, I expect him to get in and play. He had a really good offseason and training camp and preseason, and then, kind of got hurt at the end. So, but he was trending up the whole way. I really like, again, another great guy to have in the room. He's very quiet. He works hard. And, again, another guy, you ask him to do something, he'll do it.
Connor, is there anything you feel like you have to sort of explain or emphasize, I should say, to Xavier about sort of protecting himself, given this is the first time he's played with this particular injury?
Again, we've had a couple guys on the team with the same injury. Juju's one of those guys. He's kind of talked to them of kind of what to expect and kind of what to watch out for. But no, I'm not like, hey, once you get the ball, slide or jump out of bounds. He's got to play football. If he's out there, he's got to protect himself, whether he's got an injury or not. So we haven't really talked to him about like, hey, go slide or anything. So he's out there. He's going to be playing.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Coach.
Cool. We got a win this past weekend, so life was a little better.
What's that do for you guys just around the building when you get back, coming back to the winning flight and all that stuff?
For us, it's a momentum shifter. We're very familiar with winning here, and to have that win after 2 losses feels good. Feels good.
Chris, what'd you make of George on Sunday in New York? What stands out about his day?
He was flying around. He was flying around. He was getting after it. I think he had 10 tackles. It's good for George, man.
You faced Lamar Jackson quite a few times. What's Lamar Jackson like?
As you see on film, fast, explosive. Any play in the game, he can change the dynamic of it. So, with him, it's always tough to play against Lamar and the Baltimore Ravens. Stopping Lamar is one thing, trying to contain him is another. And over the years, you look how prolific as a passer he's become. I think he's completing 70% of his passes, which I think he should have won MVP last year. Have so much respect for him.
You've seen a lot of ball, I guess, with Derrick Henry. Just with any player in the league, just how difficult is he to tackle?
Derrick Henry is the same as Lamar. Change the dynamic of the game at any point in the game. You got to make sure that not only one person, when he has the ball, not only one person bringing him down. Make sure we crowd around him, grabbing him, clawing him, whatever we got to do to get him down, man.
Chris, Steve Spagnuolo and the way he calls the game, especially the past couple of weeks, to where he evolves to what is going to take away the offensive strength. You kind of, when you look back at it afterwards, you kind of marvel about what he does.
Yeah, I mean, he's been in this game a long time. He's seen a lot of different things. He specializes in, taking away what the teams like to do best. So, we buy into that. We orchestrate a game plan around that, and we just try our best to execute it.
Knowing what you know about Lamar and having played him so many times, how remarkable was it that the Lions were able to sack him 7 times in the game the other night? Was that just a blip on the radar, or is there something that's possible to exploit, I guess?
I mean, you could take it both ways. It's not often Lamar is easily sacked 7 times. When I heard that stat line, I was like, well, that's crazy. Because the Ravens mostly run the ball, but Lamar can pass the ball too. So, it's the dynamic of the game. I guess they went down and try to get back in the game and throwing the ball. So I get it. It happens. It's not often, but it happens.
In the recent history here with Derrick Henry was he's got a few fumbles, like late in games and stuff like that. And he's not someone who's been someone to fumble the ball. I mean, you guys watch tape on that. I know you always try to force turnovers, but is there something happening that you can see that's maybe a good thing for you guys?
Well, Derrick Henry is one of the best running backs in the league, fumbles or not. And I think that's new territory for him, because you look over the years, he's not a big fumbler. So I'm quite sure he's working on it this week and the next few weeks to make sure he has the ball high and tight. But it's also as an opportunity for us to somebody grab him first. 2 people grab him first, and let's try to get the ball.
You played with Travis for a long time. What's he like in the heat of battle during a game?
Travis is a fierce competitor. I think we all are fierce competitors. We all want to win. Sometimes in the heat of battle, sometimes emotions show. Sometimes we have confrontations, whether it's with coaches, players. But I think it's more so all out of competitive spirit. We all just want to win. We all want the best. We all want to succeed, man. And it's the nature of this. It's been like that since I've been here. I don't think that's going to change.
Chris, last week you talked about forcing turnovers. You guys went out and did that against the Giants. Were you pleased with that, and do you feel like that's a stepping stone of what you guys can be as a defense?
I definitely feel like it was a stepping stone moving forward with this defense. I feel like we can continue to stride in that way. 1 step a day is progression for me. We took a step, I think, last game, and forcing a few turnovers, and we could take another step this week. So a step a week, and by the time we get in December, January, we'll be where we need to be. Yeah, have a beautiful day.
Cheers.